She has been called the last pharaoh of Egypt, a seductress, a queen, a genius, and even a goddess. Cleopatra VII, a name that has echoed through history for over 2,000 years. But was she truly the most powerful woman in history, or just a figure wrapped in myth and male propaganda? Today, we unravel the story of Cleopatra, the queen who ruled not just Egypt, but the hearts and fears of the greatest men of Rome. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC into the Ptolemaic dynasty, descendants of Alexander the Great's general, Ptolemy. Though Greek by blood, Cleopatra embraced Egypt like no ruler of her line before her. She was only 18 when she became co-ruler with her younger brother Ptolemy XIII. But this was no fairy tale coronation. It was a court of betrayal, conspiracies, and assassins lurking behind every column. Unlike her siblings, Cleopatra actually spoke Egyptian, the language of her people. She was a polyglot, reportedly fluent in as many as 9 languages. She didn't need translators. She commanded her court directly, and that made her dangerous. The young queen's first great challenge came when her brother's advisors forced her out of Alexandria. She fled into exile, but destiny would bring her back in the most dramatic fashion. In 48 BC, Julius Caesar, Rome's most powerful man, arrived in Egypt. Cleopatra seized the opportunity. According to legend, she had herself smuggled into Caesar's presence rolled up inside a carpet. Reenactment scene. Guards unrolling a carpet to reveal Cleopatra in regal clothing. This bold act began one of history's most controversial relationships. Cleopatra wasn't just seeking romance. She was securing her throne. With Caesar's support, she crushed her brother's forces in the Alexandrian War. Ptolemy XIII drowned in the Nile, and Cleopatra was restored as queen. She bore Caesar's son, Caesarion, a child she claimed was heir not only to Egypt but to Rome itself. Cleopatra was no ordinary monarch. She presented herself as the living goddess Isis. Her palace in Alexandria dazzled foreign visitors with marble halls, golden thrones, and perfumed fountains. But this was more than vanity. It was political theater. Cleopatra understood power was not just about armies or alliances. She made Egypt an economic powerhouse, trading grain, papyrus, and luxury goods across the Mediterranean. Her wealth rivaled Rome's, and that made her both a partner and a threat. After Caesar's assassination in 44 BC, Cleopatra's fate hung in the balance. Rome descended into civil war. Out of the chaos rose Mark Antony, Caesar's loyal general. When Antony summoned her to answer charges of disloyalty, Cleopatra didn't come crawling. She arrived in legendary style, sailing up the Cydnus River on a barge gilded with gold, dressed as the goddess Aphrodite. Visuals. Dramatic barge scene. Crowds gasping as Cleopatra appears. Antony was captivated. But again, Cleopatra's motives went beyond passion. She needed Rome's protection. Antony needed Egypt's wealth. Their alliance was political, strategic, and deeply personal. Together, they lived a life of excess and grandeur, ruling as king and queen of the eastern Mediterranean. But in Rome, whispers grew louder. Cleopatra had bewitched Antony, turning him against his own people. Rome's new power, Octavian, the future Augustus, declared war. Officially, it was against Cleopatra, not Antony. Rome painted her as a foreign temptress, corrupting a Roman general. In 31 BC, their forces clashed at the Battle of Actium. Cleopatra's fleet fought bravely, but Octavian's navy trapped them. In the chaos, Cleopatra and Antony fled back to Egypt. The end was near. Surrounded in Alexandria, Antony took his own life. Cleopatra, facing the humiliation of being paraded in Octavian's triumph, chose her own fate. On August 12, 30 BC, Cleopatra died at just 39 years old. With her death, Egypt became a Roman province. She was the last pharaoh. For centuries, Cleopatra's story has been told by her enemies. Roman historians called her a seductress, a manipulator, a danger. But was she? Modern scholarship paints a different picture. A brilliant strategist, a skilled diplomat, a ruler who defended her kingdom against the mightiest empire of the age. She preserved Egypt's independence for nearly 2 decades against impossible odds. She turned femininity into a weapon, intellect into a shield and love into politics. Cleopatra may not have commanded the largest armies, nor conquered vast lands, but her true power was influence over kings, generals, empires, and even history itself. She became a symbol, a legend, and an eternal question. Was Cleopatra the most powerful woman in history, or simply the most unforgettable? Closing shot. Cleopatra's profile fading into the stars over the Nile. Thank you for watching. If Cleopatra's story fascinated you, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us for more journeys into the hidden lives of history's greatest figures. Because history isn't just about the past. It's about the legacies that still shape our world today.